Committee shakeup. The Carter County session held last night resulted in a vote to forgive some disputed bonus money. Substitute shortage, what school officials are doing to fix the problem. Tennessee's sanctuary cities, how local right now on News 5.
From WCYB, this is News 5 at 5.
Thanks for joining us for News 5 at 5. I'm Rebecca Pepin. Tonight, some Carter County residents are angry. Last night, commissioners voted to let the planning director keep a nearly $15,000 unauthorized bonus. That bonus was the source of controversy for 6 months. The full commission rejected planning commission requests for the bonus. Then the planning commission chair wrote a letter directly to the finance department to get it. In last night's vote, commissioners said suing to get the money back would end up costing taxpayers more, and that's a move that upsets some residents.
Nobody's saying a word about it. I think these people need to be held accountable. You know what I mean? It's the taxpayer money at the end of the day, but they're just throwing it around frivolously.
Coming up tonight at 6, News 5's Caleb Purney digs through the documents to explain how commissioners made their decision. Karen Lou Holmes made her first court appearance today on charges she shot and killed another woman, leaving her in a vehicle on Widener Valley Road in Washington County, Virginia. Court documents obtained by News 5 show that authorities say Holmes shot Alberta Warren twice and robbed her of $7,000. She pleaded not guilty today to first-degree murder, robbery, and other charges. So far, she's being denied bond. A preliminary hearing is set for February 19th. A Greenville man facing charges today after police say he stabbed a man in the face. Christopher McMahon charged with aggravated assault. Johnson City police officers were flagged down by the victim. They say McMahon stabbed him during an argument near West Walnut Street on Monday. Authorities say they found McMahon on South Roan Street Tuesday and took him into custody. Virginia State Police identified the man who died in a crash in Wise County last night. This was on Route 23 near mile marker 49 just before 7. Police say a pickup truck traveling northbound ran off the road and flipped over. Officials say 59-year-old Frank Sloan Jr. of Ohio died at the scene. Police say he was wearing a seatbelt. That crash remains under investigation. Washington and Hawkins counties will attempt to join the growing list of Northeast Tennessee communities expressing support for the Second Amendment. Sullivan, Carter, Unicoi, and Greene counties have all passed resolutions in support of the Second Amendment. Both the Washington and Hawkins County Commissions will vote on similar resolutions next Monday. Some critics have questioned whether the resolutions hold any legal weight. Washington County Mayor Joe Grandy says the resolution is about taking a stance.
It is absolutely a declaration. It just sends a message to our folks in Nashville that this is how we feel in East Tennessee.
A Washington County commissioner tells News 5's John Engel he thinks the proposed resolution should go a step further. We have that part of the story coming up all new at 6.
Mostly cloudy skies across the area this afternoon, and temperatures a little warmer than they were yesterday at this time, but still pretty cool. A cool winter day out there. Let's check out live conditions from Bristol Motor Speedway, part of our Ashley Home Store camera network. And, well, you can see the clouds in play. And also we got some semi-cold temperatures at this hour, seasonably so, 43 current temperature now at the Tri-Cities Airport. But check this out. 24 hours ago, it was 13 degrees colder. So we have come up in the temperature category, but I think with partly to mostly cloudy skies taking us through the rest of tonight, it's going to be another cold one out there as lows drop into the upper 20s, or I should say upper teens to mid 20s. So another chilly night on tap for the region. But coming up in my full Storm Track 5 7-day forecast, tracking our next weather maker, which is going to result in us needing those umbrellas again real soon. I'll let you know when to expect that rain in the Tri-Cities, plus some high winds return. I'll let you know where a high wind watch is in effect and when those gusty winds will hit the area.
All right, thank you, Dave. Many schools in our region are facing a substitute teacher shortage. We spoke with Kingsport's Assistant Superintendent Andy True. He says the school system is looking into changing the way substitutes are hired to attract more people. Right now, retired teachers can only work as a sub for 120 days. The new system would let them work as much as they want. True says right now the shortage affects everyday operations at the schools.
Are those individual classrooms not able to be covered where a teacher might be out that day, but also you're pulling resources from other places in order to cover that.
We found there is also a shortage in Johnson City, while Bristol, Tennessee says they do not have a shortage. Eastman Chemical Company recognized 15 students today at the annual oratorical contest. This is the 6th year Eastman held their contest. High school students submit essays, and then a few are chosen to read their essays to the group. The students write their essays about an African-American contributor to STEAM, science and technology, engineering, arts, and math. The winner receives a $1,000 prize. Still ahead, after a church shooting in Texas last November, many parishes are starting to arm their clergy.
I'm James Rosen on Capitol Hill, where the impeachment drama at times seemed worlds away from the high-stakes diplomacy the defendant in that trial was conducting on the world stage.
4,000 miles from the Senate floor, President Trump wrapped up a 2-day trip to a major European summit. And while he responded to reporters' questions about the impeachment trial with his usual forcefulness, President Trump touted recent U.S. trade breakthroughs, warning of potential new tariffs and addressing tough issues with allies in the Middle East and South Asia. Sinclair correspondent James Rosen has the details from Washington tonight.
In a surprise news conference before leaving the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, the annual gathering of political and financial elites that forms the epicenter of modern globalism, President Trump renewed threats to impose auto tariffs on the European Union.
They have trade barriers where you can't trade. They have tariffs all over the place. They make it impossible. They are, frankly, more difficult to do business with than China.
Higher tariffs would rattle an enormous market. The European Union presently exports over 1 million cars to the U.S. each year, worth $41 billion, with EU manufacturers producing 1/4 of all passenger cars made on U.S. soil, employing 120,000 people. Earlier in a session with Pakistan's Prime Minister, Mr. Trump expressed guarded optimism about reaching a deal.
We're protecting Europe, and that's fine, but they can't do it to us on trade. So they know they have to do something, and if they're fair, we're not going to have a problem. Okay?
The president also appears to have administered strong medicine to the World Trade Organization, the Geneva-based body that regulates international commerce between nations. Its director acknowledged that the organization has failed at some of its core missions in recent years.
I don't think anybody in Geneva misses the point. I think they understand that the system has not been functioning properly in many areas. That's something that we're trying to address.
Mr. Trump also met with Iraq's president, who suggested ahead of their private session that the two presidents face some difficult discussions.
I look for a very fruitful and candid conversation with the president.
The commander-in-chief also downplayed the seriousness of the injuries sustained by U.S. military personnel in that Iranian missile attack earlier this month, an event Mr. Trump originally claimed produced no injuries. The president spoke of the soldiers having, quote, headaches, and said their injuries were not serious compared to many others sustained in Iraq. Reporting from Capitol Hill, James Rosen.
Still ahead, a new Virginia law could take away gun rights for people who are deemed dangerous. We'll explain.
And our busy weather pattern continues. Up next, I'll be timing the arrival of our next round of wind, rain, and a little snow.
The Virginia Senate has advanced legislation that would allow authorities to take guns away from people dangerous to themselves or others. The Democratic-led Senate gave preliminary approval to the so-called red flag law. The move comes a day after tens of thousands of gun rights activists rallied peacefully at the state capitol. The measure is set for a final vote in the Senate before going to the House. Republicans blasted the bill as an assault on gun rights and civil liberties. 3 men arrested ahead of a pro-gun rally in Virginia who allegedly wanted to start a race war. Court documents released Tuesday say federal investigators were watching earlier this month as 2 accused neo-Nazis packed cases of food and supplies and discussed ways to attack a gun rights rally in Richmond. Investigators say the men talked about plans to derail trains and sabotage power lines. They were arrested days before the rally. Around 20,000 people attended that rally in Richmond under tight security. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention saying that it is testing several people in the United States for possible coronavirus. The virus has killed 17 people and sickened more than 500 others, most of them in China. The CDC announced a man in his 30s who lives in Washington state contracted the virus. That virus was first identified in China in mid-December. The strain has been linked to a market in the city that was selling seafood and live animals. In addition to China and the United States, cases have also been reported in South Korea, Thailand, and Japan, and suspected cases have been detected in Australia. One mountain county is taking new steps to increase security at the churches in their community. Karen Wynn from our sister station in Asheville, North Carolina, talked with the sheriff's office about how the new plan will work.
Come Sunday, off-duty sheriff's deputies in Yancey County can now park their patrol cars at the churches they attend. And the pastor here at Concord Baptist Church says that extra presence is going to be helpful. In Yancey County, population roughly 18,000, sheriff's deputies say there are at least 125 churches.
Church plays a big role. I would say the majority of our county attends church on a weekly basis.
Hilliard says it was the most recent church shooting in White Settlement, Texas, that led the sheriff's department to amend its patrol vehicle usage policy.
Last week, we actually saw a press release from a department in, I believe it's Ohio, that's doing the same thing. And we talked about it and decided this would be a good fit.
Dr. Bradley Boone has been the pastor of the Concord Baptist Church in the Pensacola community for more than 20 years. 5 of his members are sheriff's deputies.
I think it's a great idea. Again, I just think it adds a level of security that otherwise we didn't have.
Pastor Boone is also a longtime deputy. He still works in law enforcement part-time.
In church security, our aim, of course, is to keep everything outside for it not to come into the sanctuary. And having the patrol cars in the parking lot might even keep it off the property completely.
I think anytime you have a marked patrol car, whether it's at a school or a church or a place of business, anywhere, it's just a visual deterrent that there is for sure someone in that building who is armed and trained.
Mostly cloudy skies across the area as we check out live conditions from Holston Valley Medical Center in Kingsport. Looking like a typical gray winter day out there. Temperatures were about average, and that would mean highs mainly in the 40s today, and that's where most of us reside at this hour. 39 now, one of our cool spots in Morristown, 38 in Boone, but up to 46 now in Mountain City and Lebanon, 43 Clintwood and Wise, and in the Tri-Cities now low to mid-40s from Kingsport, Bristol, Johnson City, and Elizabethton. We'll keep partly to mostly cloudy skies through the evening hours. Temperatures around 34 at 7 p.m. and dropping down just before midnight, back down below freezing. Won't be quite as cold tomorrow morning as it was this morning. We were in the upper teens this morning in the Tri-Cities, but it looks like with partly to mostly cloudy skies, that cloud cover acting a little bit as a blanket, holding the heat in a little bit better. 22 to 27 is the forecast lows tonight, and you can see how this kind of plays out hour by hour on our future track. This is 11 o'clock tonight. You may be thinking about heading off to bed. Don't forget to watch News 5 at 11 before doing that, though. Anyway, you can see the clouds coming in and out with some breaks in the overcast at times through the overnight. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, partly sunny skies. I think the clouds will once again probably win out tomorrow afternoon as temperatures warm into the upper 40s to low 50s with mostly cloudy skies. The winds are still going to be light during the daytime tomorrow. However, late tomorrow night into Friday, there is a high wind watch across the area mountains here from East Tennessee, including Johnson Jefferson, Carter, Unicoi, Southern Greene down toward Cott County. Southeast winds will be increasing 25 to 35 miles per hour tomorrow night into Friday, and some of those gusts could reach up to around 60 miles per hour. So batten down the hatches, another round of wind coming into the Tri-Cities. And with the wind is going to be our next chance of rain, our next weather maker tonight, spreading some snow here across parts of northern Missouri, a mix around St. Louis, and then rain down toward Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. And while the precip stays west of us through tomorrow afternoon, you'll notice some showers beginning to push in late tomorrow night into Friday morning. And I think we'll see enough cold air in place here across some of the higher elevations and the Blue Ridge area of North Carolina up toward Grayson, maybe Wythe County, that we could see a period of some snow or some light freezing rain mix before changing over to rain on Friday. But for the Tri-Cities, I think temperatures stay above freezing for the duration of the event, at least through Friday, and we'll see some off and on showers. And there could be some brief downpours as well, as rainfall totals should stay below any flood threat levels, but they will be generous once again. January definitely coming to us in wet fashion with about a half an inch to around an inch, I think, will be common across southwest Virginia. Maybe local spots back toward Gate City and Jonesville, about an inch to an inch and a half. And then from Greenville toward Johnson City, Elizabethton, it looks like a quarter of an inch to about an inch. Heavier rains likely to be with that upslope flow into the mountains of North Carolina, where we will see maybe inch and a half to locally about 2.5 inches of rainfall. And there will be a chance that we see some colder air coming in on the back side of the system on Saturday into Saturday night, with a chance of some rain or snow showers for the Tri-Cities and a chance of snow showers for the mountains. At this point, as we go through the weekend, maybe a few flurries linger on Sunday. Any snow accumulations will be on the light side and confined to mainly the higher elevations. But we will see another surge of colder air coming in. Notice Friday's highs will be in the upper 40s to low 50s, and then Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be looking at temperatures struggling to reach 40 degrees. So another blast of cool air coming in just in time for the weekend. Ski resorts got to love that. They can make snow whether it does or doesn't snow, but we may see a little bit of a rain-snow mix on Saturday. After that, good chance of rain on Friday, and then we'll see cooler temperatures come back in through Monday. Highs only reaching the low to mid-40s, and it looks like our next rain chance comes a week from today.
Thanks, Dave. The Carter County Recycling Center will reopen February 1st. The facility has been closed since a fire in August. The new facility will be located across the street from the old one. No drop-offs will be allowed on site, but people can bring recyclables to bins all around the county. The new building cost $430,000. Upgrades are now underway to get it ready to open. Southwest Virginia counties passed resolutions to support a federal funding program to clean up abandoned coal mines. Local governments, including Pound, St. Paul, Norton, Big Stone Gap, and Appalachia, have all passed a resolution. The bill would extend the Abandoned Mine Lands Fund for another 15 years. The fund provides money to states and tribes to reclaim coal mines that were abandoned prior to 1977 and is funded by a fee paid by coal companies per ton of coal mined. Coming up, how a Utah teen is changing hundreds of lives right from his own home. Plus, a group of students got a big surprise from a local car dealership. A huge amount of relief arriving for the hungry in our region. A donation of $50,000 worth of ham today. It comes from Hormel Foods and Food City. They teamed up to make the donation to Feeding America Southwest Virginia and Second Harvest Food Bank. Those two agencies run a variety of programs and food banks to help the hungry in Southwest Virginia and Northeast Tennessee. Scott County high school students in automotive training are getting all kinds of help from a local car dealership. Today, Ford Motor Company and Fairway Ford delivered a 2014 Ford Focus for hands-on learning in the classes. Teachers say they hope this will help students become marketable for jobs in the industry after graduation. Ford has also provided software for classes. A Utah teen getting national recognition. The work he's doing helps people all across the country and in his own home. Joseph Huff won the 4th Youth in Action Award, beating out almost 200 other candidates, 4-H rather. Jenna Rowe met up with Joseph, who at just 16 is designing and building prosthetics.
These are printers that I use the most.
Joseph Huff's bedroom doesn't look like most 16-year-olds.
This is where I design everything.
But the small corner room has everything he needs.
Ever since I was 9, I've been learning how to 3D model.
Joseph got his first 3D printer when he was 12.
I've always loved science.
Over the last 4 years, he's put his heart and soul into the craft, hours upon hours.
Quite a lot. I mean, the printer has done more hours than I have.
He designs, prints, and assembles everything right from his room.
Here we have 2 different styles of hands.
And his latest project.
This is the Raptor Reloaded, and this is the Raptor.
Printing prosthetics for children is getting national attention.
They both work by using tension in the wires.
Joseph makes the prosthetic hands and sends them off to a nonprofit who gives them to kids who need them.
I wanted a project that would touch somebody's life.
He's done that.
I am just so impressed with him.
Joseph's dad, Andrew, is an engineer.
So are both printers down then?
And his inspiration.
My dad is a stroke victim.
His next project is to help his dad regain movement.
I'm working on a wrist-activated opening device.
I can kind of move it.
He's making a difference for his dad and others.
He's like my role model.
Coming up, winter is back and area ski resorts are celebrating. We'll take you to the slopes. Plus, lawmakers in Tennessee want to help student athletes get paid. But first, here's a look at Bristol Regional Medical Center from our exclusive Sky 5 drone powered by Empire Ford.